Hello everyone, my name is Shreya Agrawal and welcome to the series SheSpeaks, a series dedicated to highlighting inspirational women who rose from a humble background and made a name for themselves. Today's guest is Jagriti Kesarwani. She's a gold medalist from ECE batch from NIT Allahabad batch 2013, and since then she's worked for Goldman Sachs from an analyst to a technical program manager now. She's also a budding entrepreneur and has recently launched a company called Honcho and is very excited for this new journey. Not only has she excelled academically and professionally, she's also a fashionista and a travel influencer, having traveled to 31 countries in the last 6 years. So let's talk to her and hear her story. Hello, Jagriti. I hope you're doing well. It's such a pleasure to finally talk to you. I've always followed your travel stories on Instagram and they are just so amazing. So first of all, welcome. Welcome to this episode and so happy to have you. And to start, please introduce yourself.
Sure. Thank you so much, Shreya, first of all, for inviting me here. And I'm feeling really, really glad connecting with you and, speaking to somebody from our college after such a long time. Really wonderful, talking to you. Okay, now here comes my introduction. So yeah, hi, everybody. I am Jagriti. I completed my bachelor's in electronics and communication engineering from NIT Allahabad in 2013. Ever since, I've been working with Goldman Sachs at the technology division in Bangalore. I love fashion and I love traveling, so much so that in a span of approximately 6 years, I have been to 31 countries across the globe on my own expenses and with my full-time job. I am also a budding entrepreneur trying to build something amazing with my husband. So yeah, that's me.
That's amazing. And I know that you've been the festival secretary. You were your branch topper. So you've managed the best of both worlds and you've done it so beautifully, excelling at each. So kudos to that. But you talked about that you're building something amazing. Can you talk a little bit more on that? What is your idea? What's your inspiration? And what do you see as a future for that?
Absolutely, I can. So we're building an app and we've named it Honcho. The word means boss or somebody who is in charge. So we are trying to solve the kuch bhi problem. Now I'm sure you can relate to it. So whenever we are with a bunch of our friends and making decisions, the most frequently used word which comes is kuch bhi. Which song to hear? Kuch bhi laga do. Which movie to watch? Kuch bhi chalega. What to order from which restaurant? Again, kuch bhi kar de. Now this happens in mostly every group setting that we've ever been part of. The vision for Honcho is to make sure that you do not have to use the word kuch bhi again. It understands every member of the group individually and gives recommendations that everyone will enjoy. Something like a group playlist. So in short, Honcho is all about making faster, intelligent, and inclusive group decisions. So the app is also now available on Play Stores and App Stores. It's called Honcho Everything Groups. The download links are mentioned in the description below. I would recommend all of you to give it a try. You can also follow our social handles, Let's Honcho, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. to just stay updated on the cool things that are coming up there. Lastly, I think I'm so proud to say that the app is built by the alumni of MNNIT, along with a few friends, actually a bunch of dreamers, I would call them, from Harvard, MIT, Columbia, IIT Bombay, who are as passionate as us about the idea. So yeah, that's about it.
That's such a different perspective. Even I remember like kitni baar we say kuch bhi kha lete hain, kuch bhi kar lete hain. And to transcribe that idea into an app, that's funny, but that's innovative, unique, and something that I'll definitely try out.
Absolutely, you should.
So you talked about Harvard, and I was going through your profile. You worked as a graduate teaching assistant at Harvard Extension School while you are in India. So how was that possible? What was the process? What was the motivation? And how was your experience?
Yeah, so I think before I tell you that, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory. So in 2013, when I visited US for the first time, I made a trip to Boston. As part of the city tour, I visited the MIT and Harvard campuses. Now, there was something about Harvard that just made me fall in love with it, like instantly. And I promised myself that someday I'll come back to this campus, hopefully as a student. Now, fast forward to 2017, when I met my now husband, I realized that he's doing his MBA from Harvard. Now, what thrilled me the most was that he could continue the teaching part even after relocating to India. Now, like you mentioned, right? I was a gold medalist back in college. I haven't been in touch with books and studies for a while, but somehow the thought of just being able to be back in a classroom, it just excited me. And I requested him to maybe, refer me to few professors. I actually, to be honest with you, I had no hopes of getting in because, A, it's Harvard. B, I had no teaching experience, and C, the courses and the students whom I was going to teach were pursuing their post graduation, and I was an undergraduate. So I was like, let's just give it a try, but I'm not sure. But to my surprise and luck, I would say Gundeep spoke with two professors, and both of them took me in. I taught two courses that term. One was databases and other was the probabilistic programming and artificial intelligence. Now, I'm still not sure if my college pointers made a difference or the promise I made myself back in 2013. But it still feels dreamy and surreal when I say that I taught a bunch of Harvard graduates sitting miles away from them. The experience was so enriching and gratifying, like hard to express in words, honestly. But the moral of the story is never underestimate yourself, and nothing is impossible.
I was reading this thing, everything you want is on the other side of fear. And I think that's beautifully described in your story. You were a little hesitant despite your achievements, but I
Yeah.
think you totally deserve it given all your experiences and how you've excelled in life. And I'm so happy for you that you got this opportunity and you really enjoyed it.
Thank you, Shreya. You're just being very kind.
No, I'm not. But you mentioned that you did plan to go to maybe the States or somewhere else for your master's or your MBA. And what do you think about it now, given that you've already been working for around 7 years now? Do you still hold on to that dream, or do you think that a master's or an MBA would contribute to your career, and not just yours? I would say maybe you could also reflect on for maybe who are 2 or 3 years into their careers. Does a master or an MBA really help people in India grow their career in the way they want to?
Yeah, you know what, Shreya, it's a very subjective thing. There's no right answer to this. If you ask me now, back then, yes, I also thought that it would. But if you ask me today, I would say it's not important or mandatory at all, right? I think we as a country are a lot into rat races, and that's what we've all grown up with. When you ask people the reason why most of them want to go to America to do their MS or MBA, it's not to have a career in tech, but because they don't know what else to do after their BTech, or they just didn't get a decent job after undergraduation, or all their friends and relatives are going to America, and the worst reason, they don't want to get married. Like, I've heard so many of such reasons. It makes me laugh and wonder at what exactly is the motivation behind that. Now, the thing is, I would request everybody who is listening to this that don't take me wrong here. I'm not against higher studies. Me, after having studied so much all my life, I would never say that. But I just feel that you need to have a decent enough reason to pursue it, whether it's America or India or anywhere else. Now, as far as your question is concerned, right, I know people who are just undergraduates and are at the top of tech organizations. We all know Jeff Bezos, who is the founder and CEO of Amazon. He only holds a bachelor's degree from Princeton University in US. Similarly, there are like innumerable tech startups who founders and CEOs like Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Ritesh Agrawal, etc. And they are just college dropouts. So I'm not saying, and that's why I'm saying this again and again, that please don't feel that I'm encouraging or discouraging you from studies or higher studies. All I'm saying is that once you're out in the industry, in the corporate world, your degrees don't matter that much. What matters is your skills, your passion, and attitude, which will help you succeed and go places.
I totally agree to that. Once we are in the professional space, and if we want to remain in the professional space, people might want to pursue academia. For sure, they should go for higher studies and go for PhDs. But if someone wants to be in the professional space, then definitely they should work on their skill set, on their tech stack, and grow from there. And if they want to definitely pursue a career or learn more about, say, when we study computer science, we don't really learn so much about data science or machine learning. So if you want to specialize or gain more knowledge in one particular field, then for sure people should go for MS. And even in India, colleges are doing really well. And so is it in Germany or it is in the States. It's a very personal choice, but it was really good to hear your perspective on this as well. So now that we've talked about work, studies, I know you love fashion. I know you love travel. So can you share some things about some of your travel stories and how do you balance that with work? Because you also said that you've been traveling to 31 countries in 7 years with a full-time job on your own money. So how have you managed all this, and how do you enjoy it?
So I think, Shreya, I mean, so many people ask me this question, and, I always struggle to answer because, like, there's no secret sauce behind it. I just feel that, it's an art that I've learned during my formative years at school and college, to be able to balance and do all the things that I love and also excel at each one of them. Now, just to cite an example, and because you're from NIT Allahabad, I'm sure you'll understand. So there were days when I used to wake up at 6 a.m., do color practices till 9, run to classes from there, attend college till 5:30, be back at practices till, and only to reach hostel by midnight. Now, since midterms, you always know how our college times keeps the schedule of midterms and festivals. So since midterms used to be just around the corner, I had to study with whatever energy and focus was left after such a hectic day. This used to go for days and days, till the practices were on and the semesters used to be in between. But not to boast, right? I am so proud of the fact that I could bag first positions in all my performances, and at the same time, I could do that in my class. Yeah. So I think that just means, and that just indicates to me, is that if you love and believe in the things that you're doing, you will find time for them, irrespective. You'll stretch yourself, you'll be awake for late hours or whatever. You'll learn to multitask or do whatever, optimize your time, but you will find time for it. And, traveling is no different. Once I get my holiday calendar, I plan my travel around long weekends, sometimes to save some vacation days. For when I'm traveling home to Allahabad, I usually take work from home so that, I don't lose my vacation over there. And, maybe this was just this was just luck, but throughout my career, I've had a nice manager that I give it to, my managers, who never really gave me a hard time. I was never questioned on why I have to take leave or when and all that stuff. I always could balance it well with them. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much. I think this. I hope I could give you a formula or something, but there's none. There's nothing like that.
But I love how dynamic your personality has been. And as females, it is said that one of our key standing out points are that we multitask really well. And your journey and how you've excelled at each of your interests just shows that, yes, we are really good at it. Absolutely. And following on that thought, as a female, did you feel that traveling to so many countries, was it different? Was it easier? And also, you dress up like a fashionista in each of your Instagram pictures. Like each of your travel pictures are just out of a book. So do you think that it was different? Was it easy? And how is your experience on that front?
So, I think different, if you have to say, like, if you're comparing as a female versus a male, right? I think the only challenge and the difference is safety. I think other than that, I think how I dress up or what I do there is just personal, it's right. But I think the biggest challenge, if you really ask me as an Indian female, if I have to tell you, the real challenge that comes way before you start that journey. A lot of you might have guessed it, what I'm talking about, but I think the problem or the biggest challenge is to convince your beloved family. Now, I'll give you a little bit of story here just for you to all to relate to it, So I come from a middle class family where growing up, I wasn't even allowed to go to a friend's house for a birthday party unless I was accompanied by by one of my parents or my brother. I mean, if you ask my mom today that, whom would you want to go on an international trip with, she will tell, I don't want to go with my husband, but I would love to go with my daughter. That just means the world to me. I mean, I couldn't have thought of being, coming from a place where, okay, don't go to your friend's house, to now where I've made them so confident that I can handle it and I can travel, I can take care of myself. So I think that just sums it up all, Shreya.
That's really interesting, because even I share your interest to travel and I have a hard time convincing my parents.
Yeah.
I would like to add one more way to all those who are listening on how you can convince your parents: travel for education. Indian
Yes.
parents will never say no to traveling for education. So now that we have talked about your traveling, how is it different to be a woman in tech? How is it different? How do you feel that your journey has been unique, with the pros and cons? I think being a woman in tech also has a lot of pros because it helps us stand out. But pertaining to you, what is your experience of being a woman in tech?
Yeah, I think, like you said, we stand out no matter what. But, thankfully, I think, I've worked with a mature organization. I work with a mature organization where people are very sensitive and they value diversity. I mean, it's just not a word in the book. We really live by it. However, there's always a but there. And being a female, you're always in that gray area, where people tend to generalize and call you inefficient at the first opportunity they get. For example, if you wish to choose a non-coding career, being in a tech organization like a program manager or a project manager, etc., people are very quick to judge your technical aptitude. You may still not be promoted against your male counterparts just because you go home early and log in back from home versus a male colleague who is at work, maybe till midnight. Now, but I also feel that it's just not a tech organization issue. It's the way our society looks at women. And I just hope and pray that women like you and me and, more like us can someday drive home that change. Now, there's another thing which, there's a very beautiful saying which I keep very close to my heart. And that really gives me positivity and, like you said, energy to still beat all odds and go there and prove myself. So it goes like, no one is you, and that's your superpower. Being a woman is our superpower. Inherently, like you mentioned, I think somewhere in between, women are great at multitasking. Women are great managers. Women are more empathetic. And all this with a tinge of confidence is their biggest asset, and it can take them places. Yeah.
I loved how you described it. Those were such good words, and the way you put it as well, it was really beautiful. As women, we are just so good. We just have to understand and accept our potential, that we are good, and claim our position at the table.
Absolutely.
So that was almost it. But before we leave, I would like to have one final message from you for all the girls out there who want to be one of us, one of you, and one of all those beautiful women out there who are excelling at their jobs. So what would be your message to them?
I think I would just say, guys, learn to balance things in life. You work for Google, Amazon, Microsoft, or yourself, but always make time for the little things in life that you love. It can be your family, it can be traveling, it can be dancing, or whatever. but always make time for them, because this is what will really keep you alive.
Wow.
Yeah.
And especially coming from you, because how you've managed your life so well, this really makes an impact that we need to have like a personal life and a professional life and manage it well.
Exactly.
That was it. And I hope that you have a great day ahead, and all the best to you and Gandhi for your new venture. And have a great day, and I'll see you around. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shreya. It was lovely talking to you, and I hope I could make some difference.
You definitely did. All right. Thank you.